Hi there, it's Karen Lanoue from AttractMoreNow.com, and I am really excited to be here again with you. Today, we are going to talk about business growth and others' judgments. But before I get there, I'll just share a little bit about who I am for those of you who don't know. Again, my name is Karen Lanoue from AttractMoreNow.com, and I help high-performing individuals move to the top of their field so they can live the life that they want. And so that is business owners, executives, managers, anybody, sales professionals, anybody who really wants to move to the top of where they're at. And that's what I do. So first I'm going to share a story. So again, this is about business growth and others' judgments. So what I find is on an ongoing basis when I work with business people is that one of their biggest fears is judgment from others. But it happens all the time, right? And so, and it slows down people's businesses tremendously. I'll give an example from my own life. As years ago, one of the biggest things that I had a problem with is sending out emails because I was afraid of judgment, right? And sending out too many emails. And so I didn't. And I was in a mastermind group at this one point. And one of the people that was in the mastermind with me, she's now like off the charts in terms of her business growth. And I was talking about how I found it difficult to kind of get over other people's judgments and was fearful of that. And she just said, Karen, you just have to not worry about what other people think. And I said, how do you do that? And she said, well, I said, it's easy for you. She just lets, she just lets things roll off of her, right? And she's very loud and very, very assertive. And certainly that was not me a long time ago. It was not me. And I just, well, that's easy for you because you're just that kind of person. She said, no, I had to learn to be like this. So, and I wasn't getting any kind of specifics from her, so it took me a little bit longer to kind of get over this. And so as I was going along, I'm going to share with you a couple of tips that did help me in terms of kind of getting over judgments and what you do with that. And what I also found is that as I shared this with my clients, things would change for them immediately. Like there was just bang, all of a sudden, their businesses would grow. They would just kind of go off the charts because they were not spending that time and energy on worrying about people's judgments. And they were actually also taking actions within their business that they were afraid to before. So first of all, I just want to share these tips. And so the first one is that others' judgments are really about the way they judge themselves. So if you ever, and we all do this, okay? So if you've ever said this, or if you ever heard anybody else say this, it's like, well, I wouldn't do it that way, or I would never do that. That's a judgment, right? And so, but it really, all it does is that judgment. Judgment is always just about what somebody's learned, what their stories are, and how they tend to judge themselves. And so, and when you find that people are judging other people really harshly, know that that person is judging themselves that harshly as well. And that's kind of the sad part about all of this. So when you start to understand that, the same thing for you and same thing for me, is that my judgments are really about my beliefs, my stories, and my own judgments about how I judge myself. Same thing for other people as well. Same thing for you. So if you think of it that way, your judgments or other people's judgments actually only belong to them. And they have no bearing on you. So, and they are not the truth for you. Now, they only become the truth for you if you allow it to become the truth for you. And so, again, that's one of the things that actually started to help me with that process of getting over it. The next thing is to understand that it is just a point of view, and that's it, just a point of view. So when you can, again, come to the understanding that what somebody's coming up against or what they're saying to you is only and just a point of view. Yes, it is their judgment, but it is only just a point of view. And it doesn't mean it's right. And so the next part of that is it doesn't have to be your point of view unless you make it your point of view. And so these kinds of things started to free me up. Now, there's a lot of other tools that I use, not only on myself, but also on other with my clients as well. But it is a very, very powerful tool to start to understand that it's just a point of view. So, for instance, years ago, I got an email. I was sending out an email. And this is at the time I was still like a little freaked out about sending emails all the time. And I sent out an email, and it was an email that had, it was very clearly marked that this was an email that I had gotten, and I copied and pasted it from somebody else. And the email was obviously from somebody who English was not their first language. And it even said, because I included their first name, and it was it was a name that was not, not obviously a first world country, name. And so what ended up happening is that I sent it out, and just the person that they had sent it to me was a very, very nice email, and I responded to it. They had asked a question, so I just responded in the email about how I was answering that question. So I got an email back from an Oxford professor, and he said, you shouldn't be sending out emails if you are going to spell things incorrectly. And it was just quite funny because I am one of those people. I like to be very specific about language, and I like to be very specific about spelling as well. And so when he said I had spelled something incorrectly, I went into my email and went, what is it? What did I do? Well, he was referring to the spelling corrections that needed to be made in the person's email that I copy and pasted. It was very clear that I had copy and pasted this particular email from this other person and included it. I think I even said, I'm including this just as it was sent to me. But the Oxford professor didn't actually choose to look at that. He just chose to notice and judge me on my spelling. At that point, I was just, it was kind of at that point when I was starting to make some shifts over into being more mindful about the fact that this was just this person's judgment. Of course, he's an Oxford professor, so he's going to judge me, he's going to judge spelling. I get it. But on the other hand, you should have just, instead of scanning the email, you should have actually read what the contents were. So the whole point about all of this is just the fact that you can make sure that you are just understanding that the judgment belongs to the other person. It is a point of view and only a point of view, and it doesn't need to be your point of view. It can become your point of view if you choose that. Just get a sense of whether or not that works for you. Okay? If it's not working for you, let it go. Okay? So as I said, I have lots of tools, other tools besides what we just talked about here, that help people in terms of, it helped my clients tremendously in terms of actually starting to get over that judgment. So if you are one of those people who now actually just want to make some shifts in your life, in your business, or your career, why don't we have a chat? And again, if you want to make some changes in the next 2 to 3 months, we should chat if you're very serious about this. So all you need to do is go to attractmorenow.com/book, so BOOK, and I'll put that in the information here, and just book a time with me, and let's chat about what needs to be done, get some clarity around what you need to do, and see if I can be of service to you with that. There's no pressure on this. So again, attractmorenow.com/book. And in the comment section, when you get to it, just write in judgment, so I know which of these live streams you've been watching that's prompted you to come and talk to me. So also, in the meantime, you're seeing this on the Attract More Now page on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, I know I'm posting this in different places, but make sure that you come over and like my page. Because then what that means is that I'm going to get out to more people, and please share this as well. I'd really, really love if you would do that. All right, until next time, go out and do your magic. All right, bye-bye.